Welcome to the Group Home Riches Podcast. If you have the desire to be your own boss, create your own schedule, and become financially free while at the same time helping people in need, then you've come to the right place. At GroupHomeRiches.com, we teach people exactly like yourself how to get started in the group home business. And on this podcast, you're going to hear their stories firsthand. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Group Home Riches Podcast. On today's episode, we have a school contest winner, Dominique. Excited to speak with her. She absolutely crushed the competition, honestly, and crushed the contest. It was a couple weeks ago. We put out in our school group, the challenge was just to hold 5 meetings with local referral sources, nonprofits, social service organizations, things like that. And Dominique absolutely crushed it. So I'm excited to speak with her. Dominique, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. So, he introduced me, I won the group home competition. And the reason why I went so hard this time is because y'all had a competition sometime last year. And I logged into the school app. I saw the post, and I think the post had been made for maybe like 7 days or something like that. And I just knew in my heart of hearts that somebody else had already won. So I never applied. And then when y'all announced the winner and y'all said like, oh, this person was the only one that participated, I was like, Dominique, you know better than that. So when I saw the competition this time, I said, oh yeah, no, that's mine. That's mine. I'm going after it. And I won. So yay me.
We give a little bit of tough love in the school group and on our coaching calls and stuff like that. But after doing this, do you see why we push everybody so hard to, get out there and start talking with people?
I absolutely do, because one thing that talking to people made me realize is that you are needed. Like, I severely underestimated the need of what it is that I'm providing. My niche is youth that are aging out of the foster care and juvenile justice system. And as soon as I started reaching out to like people in the community, they were like, yes, when can we start? And I'm just like, oh wait, oh wait, I'm just a baby. I don't know what I'm doing.
Now, do you kind of have the feeling that you need to get a property now?
Yes, I not feel like I need to get a property. Like, I have people that are waiting on me like, okay, yeah, we have the people that need your services. So much so that they're even offering like, okay, if you need ID services, if you want to partner with this company to be able to provide them with job training or resume building, like they have like they like whatever it is that you need to make sure that these kids are successful, we gonna give it to you. And so now I have to do my part, which is getting the property and making sure that I have somewhere to house them.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, so the competition was to do that, hold 5 meetings. You see why, really you're the winner. Anybody who participates is going to be the winner because they're going to have that same feeling that you do.
Absolutely.
So,
Brandon, quick chime in if I can.
absolutely.
Everybody that's out there listening to this, you have not started. So therefore, Dominique had no competition. I mean, she did have competition. There was other people that were doing it, but there's so many people that give up and they're like, oh, this person's going to win. This person's, oh, I can't do it because of this. Just like Dominique said, the previous time we did that competition, that was what was in her head. So the moral of the story and the real lesson is that there is not that much competition out there because most people convince themselves that they either can't do it or somebody else is already doing it. And you guys have to just really think about what Dominique did. I mean, she took action and she won. It's you've got to get out there and take action.
Absolutely. Yeah, the competition was to get 5 meetings set up. The winner gets a coaching call with Mr. Rothschild. So we'll probably get into questions on the properties and stuff like that. I want to give a recap of kind of the new content. Were you using this portion of the gold course, Dominique?
I have listened to it like kind of in the background because I just finished my finals for spring semester. So now I have about like a month gap before summer classes start, which is the reason why I really wanted to focus and hone in on this. Why I have the freedom, because like I'm in the part of my curriculum where the classes require a lot of my attention. And I do know that from a lot of the podcasts that I've heard that y'all say pretty much like once the systems are set up and in place, then you have pretty much like a 4-hour work week. And I need that. I need that for what it is that my life is about to look like in a few months. So I wanted to spearhead this now while I knew I had the time to pour into it so that I could have a lot more of a hands-off approach when school rolled back around.
Good thinking.
Well, you're familiar with the content, so you just kind of know, you might just know this stuff like the back of your hand already. So we released a new course and it's included in the gold course now, but it's just a step-by-step guide to secure funding. By that, we mean, Andy, at the end of this course, do we have a secret, loan program or anything like that?
Yes. Yeah. We've got a secret silver bullet. We've got a secret loan program. We've got a secret government grant program.
Oh.
We got all the secrets out there that's going to make you millions and millions and millions of dollars.
We're kidding, Dominique. We're kidding.
You're not? You're serious?
There are no secrets and no shortcuts in life.
Yeah, really, honestly, Dominique, you just did it. So the government funds literally billions and billions, possibly it's hundreds of billions probably at this point. They go to nonprofits, NGOs, social service organizations, etc. So how you secure those funds is by doing exactly what you just did, is by establishing a relationship with those organizations. In this, we literally, it's step by step. We show you, we literally tell you what to do.
And you're referring to the done with you program or done for you program, right?
No, this is the new section in the gold course
Okay.
where we walk you through, how to find the organizations and exactly what to say to them. For example, copy and paste email.
Oh, okay.
Where are you located?
I'm physically in Dallas County, but I have built a very strong rapport very quickly with a lot of people in Tarrant County.
Awesome.
Okay. So I'll just do a quick kind of intro again for the folks listening. This is one of the keywords that we use, rapid rehousing. You may notice, have you noticed any of these organizations pop up?
Yes.
Yes, I know. I've personally spoken with these guys. So this is what we're talking about when we say referral sources. So the competition was to find organizations like this, literally just copy and paste the email we provide you. They would have that, like, their about us section. Then we tell you, what to say, how to follow up. We give you the pitch structure guide, and then we have an example Zoom meeting. And Dominique had 5 of those. Did you use this stuff, or were you just pretty confident speaking with these places?
I used it to give me like an idea of what it was that I was going to say, but I definitely made sure that when it came down to my email marketing, that I tailored it to what I felt like was important and was going to draw in those connections. And then even, when it came down to the pitch, I personalized it for the services that I offered.
Everybody listen. Please do that. That's why we do this stuff. It's perfect explanation, Dominique. We use this as a guide, so you can learn the structure and kind of, pull from it. But if you call these places and you read off of our scripts, they're going to notice that. So that
Yeah, you're going to sound like everybody else. So yeah, and it doesn't take much because it's a really great outline of, pertinent information. You just got to plug in a little bit about, your organization to make it a little bit more personal.
probably was this one that you reached out to.
That is one that I am supposed to be meeting with. I believe it is next week.
So you're learning the value of following up.
Absolutely.
Cool. So what was the feedback like? How did the meetings go? Were these your first meetings, or had you done it before?
No, I had not done it before, and I was surprised at how enthusiastic everyone was. Like, even one of the meetings that I had with the gentleman in Tarrant County, he referred me to somebody in Dallas, and they was like, "Oh, okay, you come and join our coalition." And then, like, the very next week, I went to the coalition meeting, and it was like a room full of like extremely large heavy hitters. And as I was talking to them about, my organization and what it is that I do, immediately they was like, "Yes. Yes, how can we partner with you? What do we need to, to foster this connection and things of that nature?" And I was just like, okay, Dominique, yeah, we gotta get some fire up under us because I was not anticipating, like, if you thought that people needed you, you have no idea. Like, that's what all of this talk taught me is that like you have no idea that you are someone's answered prayer. Like exactly what it is that you have is exactly what somebody is looking for. They just waiting for somebody to fill in the gap.
Dominique, question for you. When you were listening to the podcast that we have on YouTube or whatever, and you would hear other people that basically say the same thing that you're saying right now, did you believe them at the time, or were you a little bit skeptical where you're like, I wonder if this
Absolutely not. Of course I didn't believe it. I was like, oh, they done paid these people to get on this podcast and take it. Yeah, I definitely was a skeptic before, and I don't know. I don't know what that stems from, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look outside your door and realize like the world needs help.
Yep.
But for some reason, I guess we just feel like we're not the ones that's capable of helping people. And if everybody has that mentality, that's why there's such a large gap of help that's needed. So they just need people that's willing to stand in the gap to bridge those services together.
Yeah, it's funny because, Brandon and I, we will tell people, hey, there is so much need for this type of housing, but we say it, but really we try to let all of our clients say it more than us, just so that it does come across as believable and credible. But I think, like you said, understandably, a lot of people are, a little bit skeptical, but man, it's like if you just get out there and you take the action, make the phone calls, you will find out immediately how warm and receptive these entities are, when you call. And the cool thing is you actually did take action. Most people don't.
Yeah, this is why we push it so hard. And guys, literally, prove us wrong. Get in there. We show you how to find the places. We show you exactly what to say to set up the meeting and just, get on these calls and you'll see for yourself. You can listen to an example meeting here so you can hear exactly how these go. And 99% of the time, you're going to get a reception like that, in my experience and in our clients' experience. Were you a little bit nervous before hopping on your first meeting?
Yes, because I don't know, I didn't feel prepared. I didn't feel like I knew what I was talking about. But honestly, like your passion speaks for you. If you have the idea, you have it for a reason. And most of the time, these partners, they know that they need you, so they want to be able to help you be successful because that's like one less thing that they have to worry about. Like if they are focusing on reentry and lowering recidivism and things of that nature, they don't want to add housing onto their plate. That's just, it's too much for them to have to figure out. So if they can outsource it to you, then they're like, beautiful. What we got to do in order for you to take this off our plate? So I was nervous at first, and then once I started talking to people and I saw just how excited they were to work with me, I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to be nervous anymore. Like, this is what they need.
How long did it take for you to get over that nervousness?
I'm gonna be honest, after the first call,
The first call, like as soon as they started talking to you, right?
yeah, it's because of the enthusiasm. Like, they were really excited, like, oh my goodness, we've been looking for something like this for a while. And I was like, really? So, yeah. So it's like once I realized, like y'all keep reiterating, just make the phone calls, because when you make the phone calls, you realize just how much you need it. And then imposter syndrome, it has no choice but to leave your body because you have people that are telling you we need you. Like you can't fake that.
Yeah, and also one thing that helps is to be in the mental frame of mind that what you're doing is okay. You don't
True.
you don't need to have a license, you don't need to be an expert, you don't need to be like a master real estate investor with a ton of properties. You can call these places and just be like, "Hey, my name is Dominique, you know, I'm in college. I have a passion for this. I'm thinking about, getting into, housing, affordable housing. Can you tell me about your program?" You could just say something up front. They'd still love talking to you.
Absolutely.
So to your point, I pulled this one up and, they offer housing assistance and they're not real estate investors. They don't want to invest in, apartment complexes and stuff like that. So they are looking for people like you. So,
Absolutely.
but look, they even have a name for you. TRAC Partners. So this is one that you're continuing to follow up with, and hopefully you're going to be a track partner soon, it sounds like.
Yes. Very, very soon.
Dominique, go through this stuff, closing the deal. It sounds like you're doing amazing, like establishing the relationships. I don't know if you'll I don't know, you seem pretty confident, really well spoken, but just make sure you're continuing to follow up with them, continuing to move the ball forward. You're seeing the importance of following up just to get the meeting, right? It's gonna be like that throughout the whole process, until you get a check in your account. So, and then like the closing the deal section, that's kind of talks about like just moving the ball forward and pushing towards getting a contract with them.
Oh,
So,
Brandon, I want to just riff on that real quick.
absolutely.
Follow up is the name of the game. If you've listened to these podcasts before, kind of like a parent, a broken record, I just keep repeating myself and repeating myself and repeating myself. But 80% of sales occur after the fifth close. You guys have heard me say that a million times, but please, please, please write it down. 80% of sales occur after the fifth close. You have to keep following up with these people at these, housing organizations. You have to. Once you've housed one or two of their clients a few times, then it's going to be like second nature. They'll start texting you, hey, do you have any beds available? But at the very beginning, the name of the game is follow up. So what you've already done, you followed up to get those meetings. Now, you, like Brandon was saying, you just got to continue doing it. So that follow up is super important.
okay.
Yeah, and you can we have like a sample email chain that shows this, the amount of follow-up that's needed. So you could go through this stuff. This is after the meeting, and you'll see how many times it was either our team or our client needed to follow up in order to like get, actually get the check in there.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Um, so
And frankly, that could really be something to write down as a motto. I'm a big motto guy. Like, come up with a little motto for the next 2 or 3 months or even for the year. And the cool thing with this business is that you can make a huge impact on society. You can make a huge impact on people, on your community, but you can also make a huge financial impact on yourself and on your family. And don't be afraid to get the money. Don't be afraid to ask for the money. Some people are a little bit for whatever reason, they really want to do this strictly and only to help people out, which is awesome and that's admirable. But remember, you're going to limit yourself on how many people you can help if you don't, using Brandon's terminology, get the check. Maybe this is for you, Dominique, or somebody else that's listening. Get the check. That could be a hell of a great motto. Get the check. Get the check. Get the check.
yep. Beautiful. So again, it just continue to check in with them. Are done with you clients. We like to keep them updated on the on the property search. So hey, we're thinking about closing on this property. What do you guys think about it? Just little stuff like that. Hey, we have the property. It's going into rehab. We're going to be open in 30 days. I'd love to set up a follow-up meeting with you and, the CEO or whoever they spoke with on that first meeting, and then go meet with them in person, right? It's just stuff like that, constantly following up. But I think you'll get that. It seems like you're already doing it. You already did a follow-up meeting with a ton of organizations and kind of met with the coalition, it sounds like, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what it's about. Just shaking hands, networking. It's just in every business, people are going to do business with people that they like. So it's really just a relationship business, and it sounds like you get it. And people like you, they're inviting you to the coalition already and stuff like that. So I think it's
Brandon, one more important thing that you just said. People like you. Okay. Everybody also, you need to remember, people buy from people they like. Like that's just so important. You don't have to have the lowest price. You don't even have to have the best service. You don't have to have the best bed. People buy from people they like. And so you can tell, obviously I've never met Dominique in person, but you can tell joyful disposition, positive, optimistic, nice, go-getter, action taker. So people buy from people they like. So I think that's what you just said, Brandon, was super important.
yeah. And that's stuff that, we could give you the scripts and things like that. But if you don't have that, it's just, it's typically not going to work. So also I would add to something that Dominique has in her favor. It sounds like you're in this for the right reasons. So what made you want to, get into this stuff?
It was really because I went through my own season of homelessness, and as if homelessness isn't already, like, sad or whatnot, while I was at the shelter, I realized that there was, like, a lot of young people, and just out of curiosity, I'm like, "Okay, so what's your story? How did you get here?" And I found out that there was a commonality amongst them that a lot of the times, like, they reached 18, their foster parents could no longer receive, like, money for them, so they dropped them off at the shelter and was like, "Alright, figure it out." And I was just like, "That's so disheartening," because, like, I even when I turned 18, like, I knew that there was still so much that I didn't know about life, and I just didn't feel like nobody was advocating for these kids, and they didn't really have a fighting chance, and when you look up the statistics for children that age out of foster care, it's, like, so extremely disheartening, like, most of them end up in prison or on drugs and things of that nature, and I was like, "That's a huge gap that nobody is standing in a need for, and if these children can just be redirected, they can become, like, outstanding members of society, they just need somebody to show them the way."
Yeah, it's a huge issue. So to kind of give the listeners a little bit of background. So when people are in foster care at age 18, the foster parents can they're no longer getting paid to keep them. So a lot of them just end up on the street, but a ton of them, right? So
That is an opportunity. Let me throw you guys out one other area where you see that a lot: nursing homes. So these nursing homes will take these people in, could be older, could be younger, or what have you. The minute they can no longer bill for them, snap of a finger, they're gone. And so, what one of our little niches is working with these nursing homes. So, you have to get in there and find these niches. Niches are where you make your riches, and you actually help out a lot of people as well. But these nursing homes, same thing. The minute they can't bill, just like those foster parents, they kick the people out.
yeah, and the average like on the low end at these nursing facilities, they're paying, 5,000 a month. And think of how many people like the funds just runs out. And then those nursing facilities either have to put people out on the street, they have to keep people and not get paid, or they can refer them to people like you guys. So yeah, if you're interested in this niche, you just look up aged out foster care, type your city in, and then look at all these programs out there. A huge issue, and as Dominique has learned, and as Andy's mentioned, there's not a lot of competition. There's not a ton of real estate investors that are banging these places doors down, wanting to house aged out foster care. So when they do get a call from someone like Dominique, it's their day is made. That's why we push you guys so hard to do this stuff. So, Dominique, you've established the relationships, you're continuing to do the follow-up. It sounds like you got some meetings coming up as well. What are the next steps and what can we help you with?
The next steps would be securing the property. I have two that I am considering. One is they were formerly on the pet well, they currently are listed on, like, the Pad Split website, I believe is what she said. So they all have private entry, they all have a full-size bed with a wardrobe in it and things of that nature. It's just, some of the numbers that she was throwing at me, I was kinda like, "I'm not sure if this is a good deal." I would appreciate help, like, being able to assess deals to know if it'll still be profitable to move forward with whatever, the propositions that the landlords make. And then, also just being able to successfully build more connections with landlords the way that I am with, the program, so that it's like a seamless transition. That way I could have, like I said, a system that's running because the demand is there, and I don't wanna be that person that has too long of a wait list. Like, I wanna be able to, like, really stand in the gap. So I need to, like, figure out how to build a rapport with landlords, same way that I was able to with the agencies.
Cool. I got two things to go over just by that question. We're gonna break this out. You might not like this answer. You might not like this answer, but Andy,
Yeah.
if we have to break this old calculator out for a deal,
Huh. It's not a good deal.
we're gonna
Okay.
we'll do it though, Dominique. The bedrooms to bathrooms, like that's easy, right? So You want as many bedrooms as possible. You need to have 1 bathroom per 6 people legally. So
Okay.
I think you were good there, just showing you guys how bad I am at math. But but let's break the calculator out. So what we probably don't need it. What you said the numbers that they threw out at you. What were the numbers?
For a master lease for both properties, she wanted $4,500 a month.
I mean, unless that thing's a 25 bedroom, I mean, no.
It was for 4,500 each,
Yes.
and it was a 7 and an 8. 7 and
Yes.
8, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's random. Why don't we just go on to Zillow real quick and find her something?
Yeah, I mean, let's just do. I mean, you'd still be.
You're in Fort Worth, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So 650 times 2. I mean, times 8. It could work. I mean, it could work, but we want to put you in the position to where think of it as like you're the prize here, okay? Not
Understood.
the investor. So, like if you needed to do that for some reason, the numbers kind of it's still not bad. But yeah, like Andy said, I mean, it sounds like she's just overcharging you because she knows that you're going to be making it, more money.
Okay.
And that's it. Look, that's okay. This is how you learn. You're still young, but it's always good to kind of have a mentor, if you will, and somebody that can tell you real quickly, okay, good deal, bad deal.
They are pretty unique properties, but
Yeah, and I haven't seen them or looked, but I don't know. I figure we could find some.
just do a comparison, Dominique, for properties in that area.
Okay.
You could do this on Zoom or on Redfin. You want to just kind of zoom in to where, here we go. Do draw, say, zoom in, use the highways as your area. You see what I did?
Yes, sir.
And then just, look at what you call comparables. So it sounds like she just kind of, taxing you, which is fine. So there's a lot of, here's a 6 bedroom, for example, for 2,000 a month. And it's a different area, but that's the way to do it. So
Okay.
do a comparable, make sure she's not charging you more. It could work possibly, but like Andy said, let's find you some other stuff. At least let's get you some other options so you can be kind of, you can have the leverage in the negotiation. It would be great for you to come back to her and say, "Hey, I really do. I love your property. These would work great, but I have, 2 other investors that want to work with me and they're just, $1,000 less per month."
Okay.
That. So
Yeah.
you can get on Zillow and you can contact these people. Here's what I don't like about Zillow and Redfin and Craigslist. It's very tough to speak with the owner.
Mm-hmm.
So here is what I recommend you do. You would absolutely crush. You would absolutely crush at something like this. Have you ever done one of these or have you spoke with a investor before?
I have not. Well, just the one that I mentioned earlier.
How did you find that, by the way? How did you find that opportunity?
She reached out to me. I guess she saw some of the questions in the Skool Group, so she reached out to me and said that she had 2 properties that were available in the area, and we got on a Zoom call, and she ran down the numbers or whatnot, and immediately, I kind of thought like, all right, I feel like the number is kind of high, but I was also taking into consideration that all of the rooms had keyless entry and things of that nature, so I was like, "Okay, maybe I'm being a cheapskate," but no, y'all confirmed what it is that I thought initially.
Also, she understands what you're doing. She's not going to give you any hassle like that. You don't have to pitch the business to her. She's working with you. They are very unique properties that would work great. So take that into consideration. And then also, break it out on the map and, see, try to find out like what it would rent for on the market and kind of see how much she's, taxing you, basically.
Okay. Understood.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Cool. And then it's all negotiation. You can come back and say, hey, this would rent for yada yada on the market. I don't mind paying, $200 or $300 above the market. rent, but not 2,000.
Understood. Okay.
And then she could come back and be like, hey, I'm making this much on pad split. So that wouldn't work for me. It's fine. Andy, I wanted, what's the, it's from Trump's book about the art of the deal. What's the number one thing that he mentions?
I don't know. Negotiation? I'm not sure.
There's that. You be ready to walk. Be ready.
Yeah, be ready to walk. I think that's good. And the cool thing is that with this business, especially right now, we're in a real estate recession. This is the perfect time for people that are in the called the group home business, care home business, assisted living business, whatever you want to refer to it as. This is the perfect time for you to be out there approaching individuals with rental properties. Because this stuff is getting really, really, especially up in, Dallas area, it's getting really tough to sell stuff. It's getting really tough to lease stuff.
So one way to find more people like that, and also I want to rewind for the listeners. So get in the Skool Group if you're not in it. Dominique, what do you think about the Skool Group so far?
The Skool Group is amazing, and I feel like outside of the things that you guys post and pin, going through and actually reading the conversations from people that actually have group homes and things of that nature, it gives you like so much more additional insight. And the people in the group, from what I have experienced, they are very open with their knowledge, and they respond really well. It's like really a community of everybody wanting each other to be successful.
Yeah. So there's over 2,000 people in there. So besides me, Andy, I think Andy might get in there and start start posting here soon.
Yes.
The coaches. Yeah, really the value is exactly that. You guys get to network with people who are on the come up. Absolutely, beginners, newbies, all the way up to many of the people that you've heard on our podcast. So looks like Nicole has posted the most in the last 30 days. We recently interviewed her. She's gotten, I think, 7 or 8 properties in her first year, all through rental arbitrage. That's just one example that I pulled up. I like the wins. I am the type of person that, even when I was first working with Andy, I had all these questions. He was trying to explain it to me, and it really didn't really make sense. And he was just like, let's just go to a property. So as soon as I see something visually and see that it works, it makes sense for me. And that's what the wins section is for. You could go here and just see, people that are doing it. And like Dominique said, many of them are ready to help, willing, able, and enjoy helping. So
And I think one of the reasons for that is that, like me, I'm a perfect example. Like, I can't go dominate this market. Number one, I don't have the energy anymore. Number two, I don't have the money. I mean, I can't go and set up group homes all over the country. Like, I just didn't want to do it. So there is so much need and demand for this space, even in a city, like a big city like Dallas, Fort Worth. Like, I mean, there could be hundreds of group home operators or care home operators, and there's going to be even more need for this type of housing. So I think that's another reason why people are willing to kind of share their wins, you know, unlike other industries where like people don't want to talk about it.
and it was Dominique, you had an investor reach out to you, right?
Yes, that will be her. That you the well.
That's what I thought. I saw the bedrooms and baths. So yeah, you could go find investors yourself, which I'm going to show you, Dominique, and it's you're going to love this.
Okay.
Or, in the Skool Group, there's investors out there that get it, right? They understand the advantages. It's 10x the cash flow, you're getting guaranteed checks, you have way more control over the property. It's an absolute no-brainer for investors to partner with an operator like Dominique and like you guys listening. A lot of people get that and they come in here into the Skool Group and they're looking for people like you guys. So get in there, ton of opportunities, a ton of networking. Network is your net worth and all that. On that note, Dominique, we are going to expand your network. So let's see. How far is Arlington from you?
Skip, jump, and a hop.
Like within an hour?
Yeah.
All right. So so this is meetup.com.
Okay.
Punch in real estate and your area. I just did Dallas. Look for ones that are like, I would go to these. I would go to Rudy's, get some barbecue.
Mhm.
There are, look for at least kind of like 10 people. You can go to the smaller ones, but I like the ones where, more people are going to be there. This is not like Shark Tank, okay? This is
Okay.
it's people in real estate just tend to be cool. They tend to be very fun, very easy to talk to. If I swear, just go here, tell people what you're doing, and you will find an investor to partner with.
Yep.
I guarantee it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you the one. I've been to one in Dallas. I forget the name of it, but there was like over 100 people there. Dominique, I'm telling you, I had a line. I had a line of people wanting to speak with me to learn about like the group home riches model.
Wow. Okay.
Every I have never spoken to someone in real estate, a real estate investor, and not at least piqued their interest.
Understood.
With our Done With You deal, this is one of the homework assignments that we'll give to people. They go to a meetup group, they just give the introduction and get people at least curious enough to hop on a Zoom call, and then our coaches will pitch. They'll give the pitch. We've never gone through that pitch and gotten a no. At the end of every pitch, yes, I want to work with you. It doesn't always work out with the property, or, sometimes, who knows, but I'm telling you, go to this and this will give you leverage. This will at least give you some more opportunities. That way you can look at that other properties that have already been, pitched to you, but you want to have some other opportunities.
Understood.
I'm an investor. What would you say to me?
Hi, my name is Dominique Perry. I am owner and operator of Product of My Environment Incorporated, and we provide youth that are aging out of the foster care and juvenile justice system with transitional housing. I see that you are an investor and you have a couple of vacant properties, and I believe I can help you fill those. So, what my organization does is, like I said, we just provide youth that are aging out of the foster care and juvenile justice system with transitional housing. So, you would provide us the housing, we would create a leasing agreement, and then upon that agreement, I will make sure that your rent is paid in full every single month, for the dollar amount it is that you are asking for. And then everything outside of that, my organization will take care of, including property management, anything that goes on inside of the house, security, and everything else will be up to my organization. And the only thing that you would have to do is sit back and collect the check.
True.
Andy,
Beautiful.
I mean,
What,
come on.
when can we meet?
There's no way, no investor in their right mind it would turn down a coffee with you. That's
They're
Like-
not going to.
that's all your goal is to pique their interest. Andy, if someone told you that at a real estate meetup group, you would have your interest would be piqued.
Oh yeah, I mean that's literally as good as a yes.
Yeah. So it's and I put you on the spot. Dominique, did we rehearse that, or did I tell you I was gonna do?
No, you definitely did put me on the spot. Definitely put me on the spot, but I appreciate that. I like opportunities to keep my brain sharp. So thank you for that.
Yeah, so that's I put you on the spot. That's always uncomfortable, and you sounded amazing. You will absolutely crush at these places.
Thank you.
So one of the things is, after that, you're gonna pique their interest, is just being able to answer their questions. If you were a real estate investor, you don't know anything about group home riches, try to think, what questions do you think they would have for you?
I guess they would probably wonder how I generate income to be able to afford the rent.
Yeah. So that's one thing. That's something that investors don't really get, right? Put yourself in their shoes. Andy, how many evictions have you had to do in the last 30 days?
Me personally or stuff?
Let's say stuff. Yeah.
Oh, we're doing probably 40, 50 evictions a month.
So you need to understand that most investors, they have just nightmare tenants like that, right? And you're telling them, hey, instead of, one qualified individual, you're going to be housing 10 basically unqualified people in the property. So you need to be able to explain, the systems that you're going to have in place to keep evictions in check and things like that. So how do you get paid? How does that make sense? Make it make sense for the investor.
Okay.
How do you get paid? Can you explain that?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. How do I get paid? It would be through the well, right now through partnerships with organizations that are covering the rental fees as the young adults try to like gain self-sufficiency. So with youth that are aging out of foster care, they are entitled to a voucher, but they have to have certain things in line. Like some of them don't have their important documentation and things of that nature, but they still need somewhere to be in the meantime until they get all of those ducks in a row. So there are organizations that will cover their rental amount until they're able to transition into their own living space with the voucher.
Beautiful. Short and sweet way. Hey, they're getting paid indirectly by the government, and we're going to be getting guaranteed checks.
Correct. Write that down, memorize that. What Brandon said is perfect.
And you don't really need to go the way you can explain it. That's awesome. Wait for them to ask questions before you get into the details. But sell, you're not selling anything. Explain the value. So, hey, I'm going to be getting guaranteed checks from the government indirectly. So I'm not going to need to chase these people down for their checks every month. That's one of the many advantages of this business model. Something like that. It's almost
Okay.
like, explain like the benefits to them. When they hear that, and what it
Yeah,
what
they
what
love
would
it. Write down what Brandon just said and just say that.
yeah.
And that
Okay.
they love it. Because think about it. They're like, okay, these organizations are being paid directly by the federal government or the state government. I'm in. Everybody wants that because it's guaranteed money, right? Working at Amazon is not guaranteed, and we've gone over this ad infinitum, but the reason it's not guaranteed is because the robots are are coming for your job. But no, the robots are not coming for the federal government. They're not gonna do it.
Andy, what do your property managers do from the 1st through the 10th?
See, that's bang phones, bang doors, post 3-day notices. I mean, they're coming after these people hard and heavy.
They're chasing checks.
Yeah,
So,
chasing checks.
yeah, when the investors start asking you those questions, Dominique,
Mhm.
every question that they ask is really, they're just trying to figure out, the business model and the advantages to it. Think about the advantages. So there's 10x the cash flow. That's huge. Right there, I could just say that and I'll have people like, wait,
Yep.
what? Tell me more. 10x the cash flow, guaranteed checks, more control over the property. It it solves all of their problems. The only downside as an investor is that they need to do all this work that you just did, right? So
Yes.
the investor would hear that and want to like they're totally into it. They don't want to get the gold course. They don't want to go through all that. They don't want to do the education. So that's where you come in. You literally solve all of their problems. If you can pay them, $200 more per month, you doubled their revenue. So I just got your message and
Okay.
you gotta wrap it up. We don't
Yes.
we don't want you late for school. I forgot that you're in the middle of all this hustling, absolutely crushing the competition. You're also going to school. If there are any investors listening in Dallas, hit us up, hit Dominique up. Do you want people to reach out to you? I forgot to ask.
They absolutely can.
Yeah, where can people reach you if they want to reach out to you?
My business line is 305-980-0645, and my email is dperry@productofmyenvironmentinc.com.
Dominique, I'm gonna follow up. I have an investor call that we did with with Coach Terrence a couple years ago. It's the absolute hardest negotiation that anyone will ever have to go through. And by the end of it, they wanted to work with Terrence. So
Okay.
let's send you that call so you can listen to it. And I'm
Okay.
gonna find that there's an awesome meetup that they do in Dallas, like I think once a month with over 100 people. It's awesome. People are really cool that throw it. I think you'll love it. I'm gonna find that. And then if not, go through these. I would go to these ones coming up if you can. Uh,
Okay.
and yeah, just let us know how those goes. We'll continue to work with you. And we need to do a part 2 when you have that property filled, rocking and rolling. You got the aged out foster kids in there, and you're collecting those checks. So
Okay, so we'll be doing a part 2 in like a month then. Okay.
let's go. Dominique, thank you so much. Congratulations. And yeah, we'll do that part 2 soon. We'll let you get to class. Thank you so much for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.